Good afternoon, basically, but yes, good morning, good evening, or the time of the day you're watching this video. Namaskar from my side. This is Kapil Sharma. In case you have any difficulty in the session, during or after the session, you can drop a comment in the comment section. Either me or my assistant will answer you shortly. In this video, we'll be discussing time and tense and the combinations of all the things, subject and verb agreement. Let's head on straight to the content. So this video is going to focus time and tense and all the nuances of time and subject and verb agreement. Okay. The very first thing, you have any doubt, drop your doubts in the comment section. They'll be answered. Not only grammar, but also vocabulary and your reading. All these things with regular practice help you get a job, get a good score in examinations. Okay. The first thing we need to consider is only verb changes and change the time and tense of a given statement. That means no other part of speech in English can change the time and tense. Like a noun doesn't have any time and tense, a verb can change. A pronoun doesn't have. An adverb, a preposition, a conjunction cannot change the time and tense of the given statement. For example, there's a simple statement, he goes to school, and it has all the variations in different tenses and times. It's only the verb that is changing, that you know and can see, and changing the time and tense. No other part of speech, I repeat, can change the time and tense of a given statement. Just like pronouns remain the same, nouns remain the same, prepositions, say an adverb, daily, every day, a conjunction, they do not change. So he goes to school, just the verb is changing. That means we need to consider verb into consideration. That means we need to understand verbs which will help us understand time and tense and change the time and tense of a given statement, or grab them. He is going, just the verb is changing. Present perfect, has gone, has been going for a month. Went to school, was going to school, had gone, had been going, will go, will be going, or any other combination. So I repeat, yes, I've said that twice, that verbs change time and tense of a given statement. However, in order to identify, there are some raw structures which we can understand first without any specific time. It doesn't have present, it doesn't have past, it doesn't have future. These are the raw structures. Indefinite says or simple, subject plus verb. All of us know we have just 5 verbs in English: V1, V2, V3, this participle variation VING, and this SES version VSES. For example, if I talk about go, a simple word, second form goes went, third form goes gone, fourth form is the ing version, going, and the fifth form SES after this. Can say do, did, done, doing, does. Can say have, had, having, and has, and all the others. So this is the raw structure, subject plus V1. When we put time here, V1 is already there. For a singular subject, we'll put SES, so 2 verbs are already consumed, just framing one tense in English. When we talk about past, we'll be putting V2 over there. So only 2 tenses, I should say, are formed, and 3 verbs have been used. Only 2 are left now, either the third form or the fourth form. Okay, no problem. Now I need auxiliaries because I have 10 tenses remaining. I repeat, in present indefinite you get V1 plus SES, 2 verbs gone. In past indefinite you get V2, so 3 verbs gone, only 2 remaining. 10 tenses are remaining. So I need some help. I need the help of these auxiliary verbs in English. So I'm giving this be and this ing verb here, have, and this third form here. All the verbs have been exhausted, I should say now. What about the rest of those, or just one tense left in 3 variations, past, present, and future? Combinations will be there because we don't have any other verb. So have here, be here, third form after have, as always in a perfect tense, and be taking this ing after this in a continuous tense, plus adverb of time, generally with the help of since and for. These are the raw structures. Let's frame time. When we talk about present, we do put either V1 or SES for a singular subject. So of course in the very first one we do this subject plus V1 or SES for a singular subject. Done. Remaining fraction as it is, present indefinite. When we talk about be, of course you know, be has 3 forms in present tense: is, am, and are. So it goes is for a singular subject, I takes am, and this are for a plural subject. Tense is the same. We have just put time here, so ing remaining the same here. When we talk about present perfect, have is the raw form, V1, subject plus plus SES, and the SES version of have goes has, plus V3 plus V3. We have not changed tense, we have just put time here. And in the same fashion, when we talk about present perfect continuous or past perfect continuous, that way, present, so V1 subject plus have plus SES for a singular subject plus the remaining fractions, been, ing, adverb of time. These are the structures in present tense, isn't it? V1 plus SES, B plus SES becomes is, and am and are, and then ing, the same. Have plus SES goes has plus third form, and the same happening here. Objections welcome. Say we are framing past tense, it goes V2 in past in all the four tenses. Now don't touch ing or third form. These are the non-finite verbs. We are taking the help of some verbs, calling them auxiliaries. We'll be changing them as per the subject or the need. So V1 becomes V2 here, the only verb present in the indefinite or simple tense. This auxiliary changing itself, past tense, it'll be was, you know this, and were in past tense, the V2 of be, we can say. Tense is quite the same. That was continuous, present continuous, past continuous, ing remaining there. Say subject plus have in its second form, past is going to be had, plus tense remaining the same. That was third form, is third form here, perfect and perfect. In the same tone, we talk about subject plus have, and its past form is going to be had, plus remaining fractions as they are, been, ing, since and for, whatever. That's the past variation. Subject plus V2, second form of be, was and were, ing the same there. Second form of have, had, plus third form there. Second form of had, and the remaining fractions there. The same that we discuss in future tenses, we put this modal auxiliary, either will or shall. Generally for I and we, the first person subjects, we put shall, and for the rest of the subjects we put will, and basically we know a modal takes a V1 after them. So no ing, nothing like third form, but not here. These are the non-finite verbs. Here, the finite verbs, the help of which we are taking. Okay. So subject plus indefinite, will or shall, whatever the subject is, and then a V1 after them, fresh form. Subject plus will or shall as per the subject, and then a fresh form here. Don't touch this. That's a non-finite verb. Be itself will be coming here because that's the fresh form, and then ing because it is a continuous tense. Subject plus will, the modal. Then you have the fresh form, which is have, and then the third form because it is a perfect tense. In future, imperfect, and in the same tone, subject plus have, before that will, and then been, and then whatever you put. I'll take a pause here, we'll wait a minute, and then we go ahead to SVA. These are the tenses that we come across, those 12, along with the help of auxiliaries and their main verbs, either participles or infinitives or whatever. Present simple, I repeat, in its base form is subject plus verb, no auxiliary here. V1 plus SES in present, V2 in past, modals, and V1 in future. Be plus ing in its raw form. Now it goes is MR in present plus ing, was were in past plus ing, modals, and be plus ing in future. Have plus third form, the raw form, the base form. In present tense it goes has plus V3, past goes had plus V3, and future with the help of a modal will, have, and then the same V3. And same happening here, have. For present tenses, SES becomes has plus remaining fractions. Second form had, modals plus V1, and then the remaining fractions there. Objections welcome. Changing slide in next 30 seconds. Okay, just a couple of sentences to go ahead with. Say if I put a sentence, I have been to Delhi, I have been to Mumbai, or anything such. Don't mug up a rule that you probably have gone through in school. Have been is used in perfect, present perfect continuous, fine. But before that, it doesn't have an ing. So conclusion is, out of those 12 tenses, we have ing in 6. In continuous tenses, 3, and perfect continuous tenses, these 3. So if a sentence doesn't have an ing, it is not going to be either in continuous or in perfect continuous tense. It's not a perfect continuous because it doesn't have an ing coming after be. Be can be used in indefinite tenses as well. She is beautiful. It is be, is, she is, but it doesn't have an ing. So that won't be a present continuous tense. It's not a recorded session, it's live. I'm saying that. Can mark your name. But focusing on the slides because I have to finish SVA in this particular one. It's not a recorded one. Come on. Okay. So it doesn't have an ing. So it's not going to be either a continuous or a perfect continuous tense. Since it has a have and then a third form, and have in third form is in present perfect tenses, is a present perfect tense. Okay. And in the same fashion, when you say she has been married for last 10 years or anything such, she has been married for 10 years. I hope you remember, we will discuss B plus V3 is a passive. B plus V3 is a passive. And we have a singular subject here for which SES is also there. It's once again not an or a continuous tense, either this continuous or that continuous, because it doesn't have an ing. But it has have along with a third form, which is a perfect tense, along with the third form after be, which is a passive version. So the perfect tense of she is married, she has been married for last 10 years. Your doubts will be welcome. Drop your doubts in the comment section, we'll answer them. That's all I had in time and tense in terms of structures. We'll discuss in the practice sessions their errors. Okay, here we are. Subject-Verb Agreement. A sentence is going to be a sentence if it has a subject and a verb, but there is this concord which should also be there. They must agree with each other in order to frame a grammatically correct sentence. For example, mathematically there's a student and his parents. So there should be 2 or 3 people. The resulting verb should be plural in nature, and it is. No objection. But mathematically in the next sentence as well, the student along with his parents, we have 3 people, not only the student but also the parents, but the resulting verb is singular. Why? We'll discuss in next 2-3 minutes. 3 idiots, the same subject in both the sentences, but as per the predicate, that's the name of a movie, and that is just only one movie, so will be singular. But there may be some people, they are idiots, for example, they are waiting for you. More than one, we have to say are. So we can't just mug up with this subject, we use this. I was dancing in the garden. I was, in fact, I was there. I was there. That's real. But I was not there. Come on, I was not there. If I were there, I would have seen him or anything such. That's the subjunctive one, I hope you know, without SESV frame. We'll teach in this session. Okay, the first one, going ahead smoothly but a little quickly because we have to finish this in this session itself. For a singular subject, we put SES. Just a minute ago we discussed in present indefinite tenses because in past it is V2 for all the subjects, and in future it is modals will or shall with a fresh form coming after them. So he go to school, more than impossible, say he goes to school. The easiest error in English to determine, or the most difficult one, or the most highlighted one when it comes to the value of the errors. The sun rises in the east. It may be a little far. The person who came with you last night lives near my house. Okay, with a singular subject we put SES. Done. When you add a couple of bodies, a couple of subjects with the help of this conjunction and, which already joins, we get a plural verb. So when you talk about Ram and Sham, they are 2 people. Won't be saying is going to Delhi, say are going to Delhi. She and I, a couple of subjects. She and I, 2 people, have been selected. Rohan and his brother, not only just Rohan but also his brother, mathematically those 2 are coming tomorrow. And she and I are friends. I are friends? No, she and I collectively are friends. We are friends that way. So for a couple of terms, if we add a couple of subjects with the help of the conjunction and, of course we are going to get a plural verb after them. But not always. Sometimes We talk about the qualities of people, and in that case, the resulting verb may be singular, may be plural, depending upon the number of persons associated with, say the number of bodies associated with. How? If you talk about Farhan Akhtar, the same person can be the singer, the director, the lyricist, the actor, the producer. So let's call on stage the singer, actor, producer, dancer of this movie. Just only one person is coming, Farhan Akhtar. One person may have many qualities. So generally, just like mathematics, we say 3 into 2 plus 3 into 5 can take this thing common because it belongs to the same. Can say 3 into 2 plus 5. Quite comfortable with this. Same happens here. Generally, I repeat, generally, we put just one article in order to define something. It belongs to the same person, or these qualities belong to the same person. So the poet and philosopher, representing just only one person, has arrived. With the help of the article, we can say. Not always, generally. Thanks for the answers. But in the second statement, the poet and the philosopher, you are talking about two different people, 3 into 2 plus 5 into 7. Nothing can be taken common because they belong to two different categories, two different bodies, two different people. So the poet and the philosopher can't say has, it has to be a plural verb here, have arrived. Because there's a different person, the poet, a different person, the philosopher. It happens generally. A black and white cow was there, just one cow was there, who was, or say which was black and white. But a black and a white, that means a black cow, a white cow, that means there are two. Say were there. Yes, it is feasible to say a dancer and singer. Michael Jackson, just one person can dance and sing at the same time. Not all, but some can. A poet and philosopher, because one person can be a poet and a philosopher at the same time. One cow can be of a couple of colors, black and white, or say multiple colors. But in any organization, just one person cannot be the principal and staff altogether at just one point of time. I repeat, in any organization, generally, unanimously, one person cannot be the principal and staff at the same time. So there has to be two people for which we have to put a plural verb here. Articles won't work. The principal and the staff, say, are absent. Okay, the same happens in some more statements. When you say, okay, I've dropped that slide, I think, no problem. When you say the horse and carriage, say is ready, no problem. The horse and carriage is ready because there is just one body along with the horse and the carriage, we get something. Has to behave all together. Horse alone, carriage alone cannot function. So that's one body, resultingly, that it has to be singular in nature. Say, slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. Why? Because collectively, you are talking about just only one person with the two qualities. He can be slow, but he has to be steady in order to get something. So you have to be slow, but you have to be steady enough to win the race. Just one body is there. In the same tone, we can say the sum and substance of this poem, is as follows. The conclusion of the poem, what we got from the poem is this. Collectively, it shows the conclusion. Collectively, it shows just one person who is constant enough to get something, who is persistent enough to get something. The horse and carriage, of course, we know is just one single body. When we talk about food items, say rice and curry, say we eat all together, rice and curry. Rice is not eaten differently and curry is taken separately after that. When you say bread and butter, of course we paste butter on the bread and take that as a meal, as a breakfast, I should say. So bread and butter is a healthy breakfast. Rice and curry is my favorite food. Taking both the things all together. Okay. Sometimes, quite common in examinations, quite common in error detection, we come across these words, adding a couple of terms in the beginning that seem the subject, but they are not the subjects. Why? Because these words are prepositions with, together with, along with, no less than, and such, and prepositions take objects after them. So an object cannot take a verb of its own. Only the subject can take a verb of its own. I repeat. When you say, logically, the student a conjunction in between his parents, so a student, one, and joining words, his parents, two, three, have arrived, a plural verb there. But when you put a preposition in between, the student along with his parents, this is a preposition. With is a preposition, all of us know, can verify. It will take an object after this, won't be a subject. The only subject available here is the student who has arrived. So it seems awkward if we put mathematics alone, but if you put the logic, you get the same answer. The student along with his parents has arrived. Can rephrase this statement because there's a preposition. The student has arrived along with his parents. Can also say this way. Along with his parents, the student has arrived. So do remember in error detection, when you come across words like with, together with, along with, no less than, like, besides, and not, rather than, as well as, the verb follows the first word, not the second one, because these are prepositions. The second word won't be the subject, it will be the object. And the verb is used as per the subject only. Objects do not take finite verbs of their own. Okay, same happening here. The general, say a post. With over 1,000 officers, so mathematically they are going to be 1,001. But this is a preposition with not more than 1,000 officers. It doesn't matter. It will be the object of the preposition. The general has surrendered along with these officers, or along with the officers. With over 1,000 officers, the general has surrendered. Same happening here. I, no less than you. I'm not less than you. So I am to be blamed for this loss. No less than you. I am to be blamed no less than you. Okay, doubts, welcome. So with those words, we get the first term as the subject because they were prepositions. But with these words, we consider the second term as the nearest subject of choice. How? Choice. When you say either this or that, you just pick one out of these. When you say neither this nor that, you make some comparison. You're not picking either. When you say not only this, but also that, in these words, along with this fourth one, none but, verb follows the nearest subject. And basically we have two in terms of either or and neither or. We follow the second subject. Say in your mother tongue as well, either she or her friends are coming. Either her friends or she is coming. Either she or her friends are coming. Either her friends or she is coming. The nearest term. Do remember, subject-verb agreement. Both are the subjects, but we are picking just one. There's a choice, either this or that. Neither she nor I am to blame. Neither I nor she is to blame, as per the nearest word. None. But cowards are afraid of fighting. None, but cowards are afraid of fighting. These words basically, I think you know, someone, somebody, something, just one. Anyone, anybody, anything, just one. Everyone, everybody, everything, just one. Nobody, nothing, no one, each, every, either, neither when they are subjects. They are the subjects. They are singular. Say someone, quite easy I know, has stolen my pen. Each of them has done the homework. But sometimes we misunderstand. There's an error of proximity showing in the next slide. A model may be in between. Don't consider the subject singular because a model takes a fresh form after this. So don't say someone may has. I know, quite silly, but that's my responsibility to mention this. Don't say the train must has departed. Say the train must have departed. Each, if is the subject, will be singular always. Each cannot take a plural verb. But sometimes each is not the subject, which feels like that. Say we have fractions like this. Each have been something such. So we may think each have is wrong. Kindly correct this to each has. But that's not the subject. The subject is something else. That's an adverb here just to emphasize. So we have a pen, each. The soldiers have been commanded to go, each. The students are ready, each. It may be in between as well, it may be at the beginning as well. The students each are ready. So we are not putting a verb for each, we are putting a verb for students, soldiers, we, or a plural subject coming before that, for which a plural verb should be there. But yes, each is here just for emphasis. We may get confused we may put a singular noun after each. No, that's not the subject. Had it been the subject, we'll be putting the singular verb. Okay, let's talk about the most important term when it comes to any language. SVA is also important, and the most important in the SVA is this conditional statements. What is that? We put a condition here, we put an action here, and the result comes after that, generally. And conditional clauses, what we speak in our mother tongue, cannot be put in future both. I repeat, both the conditional clauses, conditional clause. There's a condition here. If you follow me, I'll help you. If you go there, I will not go there. If you come here, we will walk together. And both the conditional statements cannot be put in future tenses. Do mug up, understand whatever you say. I repeat, both the conditional clauses cannot be in future. Basically, they are, you put the condition in present tense. What if India win today? Okay, I'll give you 500 rupees if India wins today. That's the condition. But conditions have to be in present. Results can go in future. So present indefinite, we put the result in future indefinite. Obviously, common sense. When you talk about past indefinite, I'll derive. We put a would mandatorily there. When we talk about past perfect, a had and a third form, past perfect. Would is mandatory here because that was future initially. Had is mandatory here, but models take a V1, so have will be there. And a third form here, LHS equal to RHS. Okay. For example, if you work hard, you will succeed. If you worked hard, you would succeed. And if you had worked hard, you would have succeeded. This is more than impossible if you say if you will work hard, which seems good, sounds good in our mother tongue, but it's not possible. If you work hard, you will succeed. If you will work hard, you will succeed. More than impossible. If you worked hard, you would succeed. Let's transform the statement in past. If you, pronouns don't have past, I mentioned at the beginning of this session. Yes, a verb can go in past, worked hard. You, once again a pronoun. A verb can be in its past tense. Succeed is a V1, models take V1 after them. Say putting the sentence in perfect tense, if you had plus V3, you would had, but models take a V1 and then third form after this. Any sentence can be transformed in these three conditional clauses, but remember, if it is a past indefinite at the beginning, there should be a would only. Basically, they ask putting would have here, and there is this perfect tense at the beginning, had third form, has to be a have and third form after this. They can be swapped. I'll come if I get leave. Result may be at the beginning, a conjunction in between, and the condition at the end. It goes both ways. Okay, objections welcome. So these are the conditional clauses. We have zero conditional as well, in which need not put the sentence in its future form. If you have any objection, you can ask me. You want to go? You can. So if you want to leave, I won't say you will. If you want to leave, not you will, you can. Catch me if you can. I'm sure you have heard this in movies and songs and such. So if you want to leave, you can. Zero conditional. Results are not in future, they are in present. If she feels any difficulty, she can inform me. Not in future, she will inform me. If we boil water, it evaporates. If you heat ice, it melts. The basic general truth we can say, both happening in the present tense, nothing going for future. Catch me if you can. Both the sentences once again are in present tense. So these are the first conditional, second conditional, and third conditional clauses, but that's the zero conditional. Why? Because we are not moving forward. The result is also in present tense along with the condition in present tense. But sometimes we come across sentences, both the actions which have already happened in the past. Judge this. This is say 1 in the afternoon, 2 in the afternoon. I went to railway station in the morning at 7, but the train had departed at 6 in the morning. So when I say this, when I reached the railway station, the train departed. It will be better to say the train had departed before I reached the railway station. With the help of common sense, we can say both the actions happened in the past, but one of them happened before, or say one of them had happened before the other one happened. So the action which happened before is written in past perfect tense, and the action which happened later is marked in past indefinite tense. Not always we come across past perfect and past indefinite altogether, because both the actions may have happened at the same time. So when I came home in the evening today, 7 for example, I found the lights on. I found the lights on exactly when I entered my room. I didn't know this before that the lights had already been on before I entered the class or the room. I got this when I entered the room. And one may be in continuous tense as well. So when I came home today, my mother cooked food is a possibility. Was cooking food is another possibility. I repeat, when I reached home, I found the lights on, past indefinite, past indefinite. When I reached home, my mother was cooking food, past indefinite, past continuous. But when I reached home, my father had already left for the job. Before I reached home, my father had already left for the job. He had left before I came home. One of those happened first, the other happened later. Say, when I reached the railway station, the train had left. There has to be a perfect tense here, representing one of the actions happened first, then the other. I reached the railway station after the train had left, the conjunction defining itself. And yes, the train had left before we reached or I reached the railway station. Okay, objections, welcome. We have this proximity, the same happening before. Not always the word which is the closest to the verb in the sentence is the subject of the sentence. Sometimes that may be a little far away. Proximity, not the reality. Proxy servers we use. Proxy attendance we have had in colleges. We were not there, but the attendance was there, a proxy one. So first thing is, one of my friend shouldn't be there. If I say, for example, one of my friend is a doctor, that is more than impossible. If you're picking one, choosing one, there has to be more than one. If I have only just one digital pen, I cannot say pick one of these. I just have this one only. But I have many pens. You can pick one of those. One of my students, there are more than that. But one of my fathers, one of my mothers, more than impossible. We don't have more than a father that way. So one of my, in English, you can say that a rule as well. I'll say logic first. One of the takes a plural noun after this. And this is sheer common sense. For the one, when we put the verb, that has to be singular. Because all are not doctors. One of those is a doctor. One of them is a doctor. Say one of my friends is a doctor. That one is a doctor out of my many friends. If you come across in examinations like India is one of the country, done. India is one of the country, more than impossible. She is one of my sister. If I have only one sister, how can I pick one of those? I have many sisters. She is one of those. Govinda is one of the best actors in India. There are many actors in India. He is one of them, not one of one. You are one of the finest people or persons I have ever met. Because I have met many people in my life, you are one of those. Beware of a relative pronoun in between. People sometimes mug up, students particularly, that one of the takes a plural noun and a singular verb. Plural noun and a singular verb, all okay. But there may be a relative pronoun in between which relates back to the antecedent, which is a plural word because of this one of the. And this plural word in its base cause will take a plural verb coming after this. So don't mug up. He is not one of those who abuse. If you talk about people who abuse, and not his parents, people who abuse their parents. Will that be feasible? If I say my friend is not one of those who will help every Tom, Dick and Harry, just like three random names we put in Hindi or any other language. In English, that's Tom, Dick and Harry. Amar, Akbar, Anthony in the movies you've gone through. Whom, the subject is plural. Those people who help everyone whom they meet. Whom they meet. In case you didn't get this, remember, they meet is a part of this relative pronoun, not the actual sentence. My friend is the subject which has a finite verb is. Now that's the part of this clause. Who will help everyone who. Those, a plural term, they meet. Moving ahead. Simple examples to go ahead with. Some animals, say, I know quite easy, were going there, but a herd of animals was going there. Can say a collective noun as well. I'll call this proximity. In the first sentence, animals was the actual subject, which is a plural word for which we'll be putting a plural verb. But in the second sentence, animals is quite close to the verb, closest to the verb, but that's not the subject. Say it's the object of the preposition. The only subject here is heard, for which there has to be a singular verb for a singular subject. It may disturb us when the sentence is a little longer. Say the policy, anything in between just to distract you or to mention something, which was to be introduced in 2014, under which there was some relaxation for the farmers who were not able to pay their income taxes in different villages in different regions of different castes, etc. That policy not have been the policy, has been started. Wherever you have a subject, there has to be a finite verb for which we put the verb. Proximity. Okay, moving ahead. In spoken English, we say, many people are there. I have told him many times, but sometimes to emphasize one of those particularly, we put the structure many, A and N. And to exaggerate that, many, there were a great many people, a lot more than that. We put a good many, a great many, just to exaggerate that. In error detection, there may be a problem because casually I should say, in spoken English, we don't say many I have told him many times. I have told him many a time is almost equal to I have told him many times. Just the grammatical differences. Why? Because many representing many will take a plural noun and then a plural verb after that. That's an adjective. If the subject is plural, so will be the verb. But when you come across many A or N as per the sound of the next word, this is the indefinite article, after which we cannot have a plural noun. The noun has to be singular just because of this. However, it emphasizes one of those, talk about all those collectively. One at a time, you can say. And since my subject is singular, the resulting verb has to be singular. But when you exaggerate that, a great many, a good many, in this case, many is the same word. And after many, we can't have a singular verb. So a plural noun and a plural verb must be here. Okay? Let's discuss. It remained a mystery for many a year. That means for many years. I've been there many a time. That means many times. Many a politician has promised. Many politicians have promised. A great many politicians have promised. A good many politicians have promised. Okay. We have the same as there and it, which we use as a temporary subject. It's 5 o'clock, it's raining, it's hot. And there's a fan which is not working. There's a city in which there was a person who was willing to talk to you. There are a couple of people who want to talk to you. There are some doubts I want to ask you, etc. The difference is there is an adverb. Adverbs do not take verbs of their own. They take the verb as per their subject. For example, if I say how, which is an adverb, just like there, is an interrogative word, but cannot take a verb of its own, a singular or a plural. Totally depends upon the upcoming subject. If the subject is plural, hey, how is you? No, how are you? So basically the verb are here is not as per how. Agreement is not because of how. It is as per this you. You are, I am fine. How are you? Because of you. In cricket, we get this appeal. How's that? So this is how is that, because a subject which is singular is there. Had it been plural, we would have put a plural verb there. Okay. So there is an adverb, has no finite verb of its own. As per the upcoming subject, it can be singular, plural, in present, in past, in future, whatever you like. So there's a boy for a singular one. There are a couple of people for a plural one. There was one person for a singular one in past. There were a couple of people for a plural one in past. There will be something for me in future as well. But it is a pronoun. Remember this, he, she, and it combination, which is singular in nature. The plural goes they, and for a singular subject, although a temporary one, we put the singular verb. So that has to be either it is or say it was, a feasibility, a possibility. You cannot say it are, doesn't exist in English, cannot say it were, doesn't exist in English, except for those conditional clauses. If I were the Prime Minister, if I were a king, if I were you, if I were there, etc. If it were a Sunday today, because this is the subjunctive one discussing pretty soon. Temporary subjects, there or it. There's a boy. There are two boys for the plural one. It is he, it was I, it is they. Yes, it is they. They can take a plural verb here if needed, but this is belongs to it, not they. If it were the unreal condition, say the unreal past, say the past subjunctive. Discussing pretty soon. We have these terms, a number of and the number of. Say logic. A number of is an adjective defining quantity, just like a lot of, just like many, which indicates a plural noun. Obviously, many will be there, a plural noun must be there. And for the plural subject, we have this plural verb. Many people are there, a lot of people are there, a number of people are there. But this number talks about the number specifically. The number of COVID cases today is, the number of countries participating in this event is, and that is just one number. And for one number, the verb is going to be singular, but yes, we'll be counting many of those for which there'll be a number. The noun remains plural. I repeat, not with the help of any rule, but yes, a number of takes a plural verb and a plural subject, while the number of takes a plural noun but a singular verb. Why? A number of is an adjective, a determiner, defining many, a lot of, a great many, that way, for which a plural consideration has to be there. But in the next one, we have this, the number. You talk about the number specifically, and that number is this, that number is this. Our mobile number, although it has 10 digits, 999, 8888, 22, done. My number, not R, this, my number is this. See, people have been facing problems due to lockdown. People are facing problems due to lockdown. Number is not facing problems. A number of people, a lot of people, many people, a great many people, some people are facing problems due to lockdown. The main subject is people. That's the adjective defining the quantity. Many people, some people, a few people, etc. But when you talk about the number specifically, the number of people who are facing problems due to lockdown, and that number is decreasing. That number is increasing. Many countries are participating in this event. A number of countries are participating in this event. But the number of countries participating in this event is 6. That number is 6. A number of tourists come here. Tourists come here. The number doesn't come here. But the number of tourists coming here this year, say, is decreasing. People are not decreasing, their number is decreasing. I hope you understand. A number of, a plural noun with a plural verb, the number specifically is this. A number of students have qualified, not the number. Number cannot qualify examination, students qualify examination, that's the subject. A number of students, many students, a lot of students. But when you talk about the number specifically, is 7, is 10, is 100, is 1000, and that number is quite low. A number of tourists have visited this place, but that number specifically of tourists visiting this place is decreasing, is increasing, or something. The number of countries is 6. 6 is the number. 6 is not the countries. I hope this is clear. We don't have that much time, but still would love to show you authentically, grammatically this is correct. India are, not the spoken English we speak or feel, India is. Let's go through. When you talk about mathematics as a subject, is the name of just one subject, say mathematics is. But in real life, mathematics, yours, mine, is our ability to calculate. And by just putting one wrong answer, my maths won't be wrong. And by just putting one correct answer, my maths may not be good. But usually I answer correctly. In this case, you can say your mathematics representing your calculations obviously not is, are weak. Your calculations, not just one. I can't judge you with the help of just only one calculation. However, the same happens everywhere. When you say politics, for example, is a dirty game. But for any politician, when you define him, he's a good politician, he's a great politician, he's a bad politician, his name doesn't define anything. His works, his actions, his deeds in last 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever, define that. So his politics are bad. Politics is not the subject or the name of a subject here. His actions are bad or good in real life. Mathematics is as a subject. My mathematics are because my calculations are. Politics is, but your politics are because your actions are. Statistics is because that's the name of a subject. That's the name of a topic in mathematics, a topic. But when you say statistics, show, because it shows data, just like in mathematics you have DI. In 2016 we had this rainfall, in 18 it was such, in 20, in 22, in 24. Now these are the statistics, I should say, which show that something is missing. We have less rainfall this year, etc. That's the data which shows, the plural of datum, I hope you know. If you say just one means of communication, transportation, that one means is there, of course, has to be is. There is only one in the predicate as well. But when you say his means to run a family, we have resources to run a family. We have resources to run a family. My father has a government job, he works there, my mother works there, my elder brother is working there, my sister works there, I myself working here, etc. And all these resources sometimes are not enough to run the family. Collectively, all the resources we have to run a family. Okay, so his means are not sufficient. The resources to live a life comfortably. India, when is a country, will be of course just one country. India is a democratic country. But I should edit this sentence of mine. There must be a thumbs up from your side as well. Can I say? India are the winners of World Cup 2024. India are winners of World Cup 2011, 1983. India left the World Cup after 28 years back in 2011. Because here India is not the country, it's the cricket team. We can say the men's cricket team now, and team is a collective noun. I hope you remember the day before yesterday I taught nouns. A collective noun is considered singular when we talk about them unanimously, but when they are taken into consideration differently, they have their different jobs, they work separately with distinctions, they are considered plural. A collective noun in terms of separation, in terms of different functionality, is plural. And the same happens in cricket as well. Divided in terms of parts, take a plural noun. When this is India, not only the batsmen but also the bowlers and the coach and the fielders and the wicket keeper, say, they have their different jobs. The bowlers won't be batting, the batters won't be bowling, the fielders won't be, say, wicket keeping, all of them. They have their different jobs, and all of them all together make a team win or sometimes lose. Just like the catch we had this year, or the delivery of Hardik Pandya, which made us win this game. Okay, so India as a team is always plural. Italy, you can check on Google as well, a piece of news, are into the finals of Euro 2020. Wages here, this is a proverb, the very first thing. We cannot change this in case we wish to. The wages of sin is death. I repeat, is a proverb in English. We can't change this. But still, the predicate defines this is death. All in all, if you do something such, this is a proverb. Kindly remember as it is. But in real life, we get salary, wages, not for just one day, generally for 30 days, just like rations in noun. I hope if you have gone through, And for 30 days, I won't be using a singular verb. The wages have been paid. The wages have not been sufficient, and the wages are determined by the local market. There is a phrase called take great pains, and this is not a pain of just 1 day or 1 hour. This is a pain of 3 years, 4 years, for which we work hard and get a job then. This is to work hard and face all the different types of pain. People underestimate, parents scold, friends don't consider, but now I'm not a 12th fail, I am an officer. Okay. Sometimes we have this, the subject remains the same, the subject remains the same, but it depends upon the fractions of which we are taking into consideration. Like knowledge is uncountable. If I think I take some of the knowledge, most of the knowledge, it'll still be uncountable, is gained. But students are countable. If I talk about most of them, some of them, a few of them, many of them will still be countable. So conclusion is fractions of countable noun are countable. Fractions of uncountable nouns are uncountable. For an uncountable, we'll be putting a singular verb. For a countable, we'll be putting a plural verb. I repeat, most is the common subject in both the sentences, but the first one has an uncountable noun for which we are talking about most, will be singular. While in the second one, we are having a plural noun. If we talk about most of them, if we say consider most of them, we'll be having many in general, for which we have a plural noun. Say 1/3 of the work has been done. Work is uncountable and singular here. 1/3 of that will still be uncountable. But students are countable, say 100 are there, and if you take 1/3 into consideration, only 33 will be plural. Many such subjects. Say 90%, is this the subject? Yes, this is the subject. 90% of the work is done. Once again, singular, singular. But 90% of the students have passed the examination. Fractions of countable, countable, fractions of uncountable, uncountable. Some of the people dislike, because people are countable, some of them 2, 5, 10, 15, that way, no SES for a plural subject. But some of the sugar is uncountable. Maroon 5 says that, is dirty. Enough is a subject also. Yep. Of the land, uncountable is, but enough of the travelers have, because it's a plural word here. Now 2/3 of the money has been, money is uncountable, although it seems plural, 2/3, but this is for money, uncountable, has been spent, but 2/3 of the desks are ready. Same happens with the words like variety, with the words like majority, because at a glance, if we see majority, we think that should be plural, because talking about majority must be many of those. We say variety, many of those. Nah, the same happens here. You're talking about the variety or the majority of food here, which is an uncountable term, will remain singular. Yep. But when you say the variety of books, books are countable, plural, for which the variety must be plural. Say are not. Objections welcome. Going ahead, trying to finish this in this session itself. Sometimes we have this as well. Say more than one. Books say a rule, I think that's common sense. After one, I cannot have a plural noun. It has to be singular. And since my subject is singular, the verb must also be singular. Done. Don't try to feel this in your native tongue. Mathematically, it will show you a plural sense. And when you say more, it doesn't represent one. The noun has to be plural, for which the verb has to be plural. Quite easy as that. Can watch it later, I agree, if you don't get this in just one video, but still, more than one city was, and more cities than one were. Because the first one has a determiner, I should say, one, which cannot take a plural verb, plural subject, I'm sorry. So it is singular, and for which the verb has to be singular, but more than one. So more than one student has passed, more students than one have passed. More than one cricketer is doing this, saying this. More cricketers than one are saying this. And in next 5 minutes, we finish all the things. Thank you. This is It Is Time. which sometimes shows present tense and sometimes shows past tense. If you go through the Hindu, if you go through the Indian Express, you may get present subjunctive into consideration also. Using a present tense after it is time, listen carefully, for bank, for RBI, for CAT and such examinations, because they deal directly from newspapers. So we may come across a present tense here, but not this mood. The answer will be he go. He go. Sir, how? There's a possibility he went is also there if you go through books. This is actually the past subjunctive. This is actually the present subjunctive. Now, what is subjunctive? Let me explain clearly. One of those you know. Remember this line you mugged up? Subjunctive mood is actually in past. An unreal situation, I repeat, an unreal situation which we assume, which we regret for, and is not possible to happen in the future or even now. Say, if I were the prime minister, I cannot be the prime minister. Not even in future, I cannot be, but in past can never be. I wish I were the richest man on the earth. The theory is was and were, we discussed in today's session itself, are two verbs. And when you talk about hypothetical conditions, not the real ones, I repeat n number of times, when you talk about either in past or in future, hypothetical conditions, not the real ones, in past, they are impossible. It's not a Sunday today. How would you say if it were a Sunday today? It's not. And it's not even possible. But in future, it will be possible. Say, if I get a leave on the 30th of this month, I'll go to Lonavala. I may get a leave on the 30th of this month. That's a Sunday. Oh my God, that's a leave. I'll go there. In future, it is a possibility. But in past, it's not even possible in the wildest dreams. So when the conditions are real, you use the verb accordingly. In a hypothetical situation, in a subjunctive mood, we can't use this SES variation. We have to use the fresh form without SES. I'll show you many examples. But the thing is, best example is this God, which is a singular subject, doesn't take a plural verb, doesn't take an SES with this. You remember? God bless you, not God blesses you. Why? This is a singular subject. Say he goes to school. Say the sun rises in the east, because this is not a real condition. When I wish, I pray, God bless you. God may bless you. God may not bless you. That's a hypothetical situation in the future, in the past, in the present, I'm sorry. And for a hypothetical situation, we call that grammatically a subjunctive mood. We don't put the SES, because if I put the SES here, just like God blesses you, this will be the real situation. One of my friends, he's quite dumb, but I don't know why God always blesses him. He qualifies every examinations he encounters. He qualifies, I repeat, every examinations he encounters. God always blesses him. Is that okay? God bless you. Okay. Similarly, in past tense, let me clarify that first. When you talk about a real situation, yesterday he was talking to me, Mummy. Yesterday he was talking to me as if he's elder to me. He's not elder to me. So he was talking, he was behaving. That's the real situation. Say he was. But he's not elder to me. He's not the Prime Minister of India. I cannot say this to Modi ji. You are behaving as if you... Sorry, sir. In the other cases, for the rest of the word, I can say he were. Because that's unreal. He was not the Prime Minister. She was not my friend. No, she wasn't. If she were my friend, not she was, she would help me. I'm not Elon Musk. I'm not Bill Gates. I can say, I wish I were the richest man on the earth. Because I'm not. Thank you. If it were Sunday today, because this is not a Sunday today and not even possible to be a Sunday today, say if it were Sunday today. Remember 5 minutes ago I said it were is impossible except in subjunctive mode. And if I were a bird, I'm not a bird, not even possible. I can't go to fancy dress competition again. Go through this. If your father were alive, that means he's not alive, he would help you. If I were rich, I would buy a Ferrari and then sold as an old monk. I wish I were taller. I can say this, you can say this. A giraffe, I think, cannot say this. A mule can say this. Yuvraj, if only he were here. That means he's not here. We would go if he were here. He's not. You talk to him as if he were your slave. He's not your slave. Some people behave as though dogs were human. Dogs are not humans. And go through the present ones. Go through them carefully. I can take an extra minute, but this is much more important. We don't speak such in a casual manner on a daily basis. We don't. Last slides to finish things off. He suggests, that is his suggestion. Just one example. You come to me, sir, I've got a job, a part-time one actually, and I'll be earning say 12,000 a month for working 3 hours a day. Should I? It'll hinder your preparation. You're preparing for RBI, you're preparing for SSC, for bank. It'll hinder your preparation. I suggest you do not join the job. Because if you're not joining, why would I suggest? For example, your family conditions are not good. You should join this job. I suggest you join this job. That's my suggestion. You are not joining this job. Why would I suggest then? So that's the same hypothetical condition which may not happen. He suggests you be at the meeting. You be present at the meeting. Because if you are there, why would I suggest you should be there? You should be there that way. They have recommended that he join the company, not he joins the company. This is correct, remember. Because this is a hypothetical condition, I have recommended you should join the company. You may not join the company. So this is like God bless you. He joined the company, he may not. He does not join the company on a daily basis. If you put an SES here, he requested the car park not be locked. Because that should not be locked. Not is locked or is not locked. They've made a suggestion we be on time. We should be on time. We are no. They've made a proposal. The company should buy more land. May buy more land. Okay, and such. So it is advisable that she rest for a week. She should rest for a week. That's the advice, that's the suggestion, that's the proposal. It was essential that the army advance rapidly. They should advance rapidly. That's not the real condition. The army advanced rapidly, and many such. You can go through these. Let me finish things off. Last 2 slides. So when you say it is time, it is about time, great time, good time, high time, they are the same. There's no difference in meaning. It may show present or future. Hey, it's time to join the other class. I'm leaving in 2 minutes. So it is time to leave. It is time to take tea. It is time to inform him. It is time to cast our votes. It may represent the time which should have been there but is not. You go to school at 8 in the morning. You are still sleeping at 7:45. Your mother will not say, hey, it is time you get ready now. You should have got ready. That belongs to past. I ordered something from Amazon, should have arrived in 2 days. It's been 15 days now. I shouldn't be saying the item should arrive today, not the present one. It should have arrived in the past tense. It said the train will arrive in 1 hour. It's been 3 hours now. I think it should have arrived. Past tense, not the present tense. So basically we put past tenses here. It is time he went to school. It is high time we left the city. It is good time I asked him to call the police. It is about time the train arrived. But it is about time we take some steps. This is also correct because we should take some steps now. In newspapers, you will come across these. It is high time we reconsider the taxes. We should reconsider the taxes. You may come across a present tone here. So when they talk about the present subjunctive, a present subjunctive is possible. We should have gone, but we have not gone there. They talk about the past, we can have a past. Remember, if the subject is singular, it is high time he joined this company is possible. You cannot say he joins this company. This is correct. So that's all I had. Thank you so much. Your feedback matters. You guys have been adorable. Would love to see you in the next turn. Thank you so much. Doubts, welcome. For next 30 seconds, can say finishing this session off. Thank you. Thank you. See you. Thanks a lot.